I've been single for, I don't know, like 2.5 years, a little less. And I always have people ask me why I'm single, or why haven't I started dating, or am I seeing someone? Well, let me tell you why I cannot. My best friend hopped on a plane, flew for 2.5 hours from Las Vegas to Dallas so she could go out to a dinner and a dive bar to sing karaoke with me for my 40th birthday.
Congratulations!
I got a question for you, gentlemen and gents. Have you ever been hanging out in your space cruiser and something just feels off? Yeah, I've kind of been staring at this banana peel that's been suspiciously laying on my deck for the last few days, and I honestly don't know how it got there. And I'm growing kind of suspicious of it, so I think it would probably be a good idea for me to just pick it up and throw it away, because it really is a slip and fall hazard. So give me a second while I take care of this. And hey, I found my missing roller skate. That's a whoa! Oh man, oh god! Oh man, that hurt. Oh man, can't believe that happened again. Oh man, I wish you could have saw that, gentlemen and gents. It was hilarious. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, that's right. Whenever a modern woman starts off a video by stating that countless people have been asking her why she's still single, it's more like she wants people to ask her why she's still single, and she's getting frustrated as to why people aren't, so she lies before going off on her tangent. Now woman, you're 40 and single. We don't need an explanation as to why, because there is no explanation. You're a failure. It really is that simple.
And along with her, she brought this as a gift, okay? She was in town for less than 24 hours, but she came. That's what she did for me. She spent the next day hanging out with me and going to my son's basketball games. A man could never. How could I date when my best friend treats me better than any man ever has, or probably ever will? I don't know.
That's a mystery.
Oh, wow. So your best friend spent less than 24 hours with you, drunkenly sang karaoke, and bought you a designer fanny pack? Well, if that isn't an adequate replacement for a man, then I don't know what the hell is. Who needs warmth, companionship, security, stability, as well as a positive male role model for your spawn when you got a friend who's unwilling to spend more than 20 hours of her life with you at any given time? Now, I'm willing to bet that there are plenty of simps out there who would have been willing to tolerate your horrific rendition of Taylor Swift's Bad Blood, as well as watch your spawn completely screw up his jump shots. The only problem is that he doesn't meet your aesthetic standards for a guy, so you need to rub it in his face that he will never replace your best friend when it comes to attention. I hate to break it to you, sister, when the bar is set that low and men are still unwilling to climb it for you, you got bigger problems than being 40 and single.
You have failed conclusively. It's over. And there is nothing that you can do here in this room that can turn that around.
I am just annoyed and very burnt out on dating after tonight. I had a date scheduled for 7 p.m. The guy shows up, he's 20 minutes late. He is apologetic, and normally I don't care. If someone's late, I get it, shit happens. It is what it is.
Liar! Liar! Liar!
But he then proceeds to order a drink and chugs it within a minute. Then orders another one and orders some food and is like, hey, can you make it quick? I'm on a time crunch.
Well, what did the police say?
Of all of the superpowers that modern women think that they have when it comes to their pathetic excuse to what they call dating, their ability to be able to gatekeep damn near anything is right near the top of that particular list. It truly is uncanny. It doesn't matter what it is, from body counts to paying the tab to casual assault and battery. A modern woman can justify any behavior that they perform while simultaneously condemning men for the exact same thing. Case in point, here we have a specimen who clearly is upset over the fact that this guy was over 20 minutes late, and to be honest, I'm surprised he showed up that early. I know if I was going out on a date with this broad, I'd be a minimum of 30 minutes late, but that's only because I'd be too busy choosing my pants for this particular date. And granted, I only own 3 pairs of pants, and 2 of them were in the laundry, but still, it's the principle of the matter. Now, after showing up and seeing you, I'd probably down a beer just to see if it would make you more attractive. And when the beer goggles didn't kick in fast enough, I'd probably do the exact same thing as this guy and order a bunch of food to go. I mean, let's just be real here, woman. There's some things that beer goggles simply can't fix.
I'm like, oh, do you have somewhere to be? And he's like, yeah, I think you're so attractive. I really want to see you again. I have a comedy show that I'm performing at though, so I need to leave at 8:15. Motherfucker, you didn't even get there until 7:20. You can only hang out until 8:15. Had I known that, I would not have come and like spent time fucking putting this together. He then ate all the food, didn't offer me any.
Right on, brother, I hear you. Man, I hear you.
Hey sister, there's a perfectly rational explanation for all of this. He didn't find you attractive, nor did he find you interesting. At least not to the point where he was willing to entertain the idea of maybe getting to play with your sloppy demon portal of discussing atrocities. He had his priorities, and open mic night was far more important. I mean, we're talking about Teddy's Tank and Tummy Tavern here. The beer may be cheap, but the laughs are typically free sometimes. And this certified gent was expecting a crowd of at least 4 people, and that is a pretty big deal if I dare say so myself. So naturally, this guy wasn't going to want to miss out on something that could lead to an opportunity that might actually open doors that could end with his big break in a couple of years. And he has dreams and goals, which is far more than can be said about you, sweetheart. But hey, you can always look at it this way. When you can't even score a 45-minute date with an aspiring comedian who isn't even willing to share his food with you, then that just means you can make it your goal to become more desirable to men. But then again, on second thought, I wouldn't hold my breath too much on that one, because unlike that particular goal, his is actually possible.
That's funny because it's so true.
I have something to talk about right now. It's on my mind. If you are going through a breakup right now, I want to be the one to tell you that it's literally going to be okay. I remember I went through a breakup. I'm still going through it, but I initially went through the brunt of it in October. I genuinely was constantly thinking, why is this happening to me? I feel like I'm dying. I just want to be the voice of reason and a voice to you to tell you that you can find so much comfort in the fact that the person you thought you needed most taught you that you needed yourself more. And I just wanted to tell you that today because I know I needed to hear that during the time. It's just so much better to admit you walked through the wrong door than spend your life in the wrong room. I hope this helps.
Emotional damage.
Translation? My situationship ended things with me 6 months ago, and I have yet to get over it. Every day I sit in my car and sacrifice time that I could be using for useful endeavors to endlessly doom scroll through TikTok in hopes of finding something to take my mind off the fact that this guy moved on with a woman who's younger, tighter, and more appealing than I ever could possibly be. And because my friends, therapist, and my Discord server dedicated to Kardashian fanfiction have all turned their backs on me, I'm going to record a video of me right before I have yet another nervous breakdown by trying to convince myself that everything will be okay, even though I'm taking active steps to prevent any form of healing and moving on as I hinge every single one of my emotional problems on a guy in hopes that he would fix everything for me, as I'm clearly incapable of fixing anything for myself. So here I sit, hoping and praying that this piece of cringy cope that I post to TikTok will finally give me the validation I need in order to pretend like I'm strong enough to move on with my life, even though we all know that's literally impossible. On a scale of 1 to 10, how close am I?
10. Do you ever feel like you only get ugly guys? Like all the men that you pull aren't hot or aren't attractive or not as attractive as you or just not interesting, not cool, not having any chemistry with you whatsoever, and you're like, I'm gonna date him anyways because I can't find somebody else? Well, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna stay single. I'm serious. Stay single, because it's not worth to be dating somebody who you don't find as attractive or who you don't find attractive at all just because you don't want to be alone.
I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it. Let's do it.
Alright, maybe I'm a little late to the party on this one, but I thought that was your plan all along. I mean, that's all you ever talk about. Every day, it's pretty much the same old dreck. You're either complaining about how you can't find a man, or about how a man isn't good enough for you, or how you would be willing to only submit to a man so long as he showers you with money and allows you to make all of the decisions as you captain that particular relationship into the depths of Davy Jones' locker, as you endlessly blame him for all of the terrible decisions that you made with your life. I honestly thought that was the plan all along, but apparently you were just accidentally staying single, and all of a sudden you had this stunning revelation. Well, golly gee willikers, creepy eyes. You're a lot more dumb than I gave you credit for, and I gave you a lot of credit in that particular regard. So we already knew you were going to stay single. And not only do we accept it, not only do we support it wholeheartedly, but we are also going to encourage you to stay single as well. Because we'd rather be alone than with a woman who's going to resent us for not being the man that she wants. So yeah, go be single. See if we care.
And there is nothing more attractive than a girl who is in her own power. A girl who knows what she wants, who doesn't take any shit, and who is not running after a guy. For what? For what? Just so you can say, I'm in a relationship? Just so you feel like somebody loves you and validates you? Well, princess, you can do that. You can do that yourself, okay? You don't need a guy for that. And you especially don't need a guy who you are not attracted to just because you're bored.
You don't know what words mean, do you?
Okay, hold up just a second. You're saying that you're going to stay single because there aren't any men who meet your absurd standards. And then you turn around and say that men will find your insane standards attractive because you stand on the business and you don't take dookie from anybody. And then you turn around and say that this is what the smart people do because it's better to be alone than lead a dude on because you're bored. Even though you also talked about how you're lonely and want a man in your life, woman, I'm gonna kindly suggest that you actually write these things down in a little notepad and try to make sense of your little nonsense rants before putting them online for the entire planet to pick apart. I mean, it can be fun. You can draw all sorts of hearts and doodles on that notepad and really make it your own. But even with that being said, it is going to be a profoundly difficult task for you, sweetheart. First off, you're going to need to make your points and actually have them make sense. And you're going to need to make those points using a ballpoint pen because the idea of you using a pencil sharpener makes me fear for the safety of the people who live in that overpriced apartment building of yours.
Good luck.
Just want to take a quick second to say thank you to the fine members of the Bounty Board over on Patreon for their continued support of my work. Gentlemen and gents, your support means the world to me, and I cannot thank you enough for your generosity, and this intergalactic bounty hunter salutes every single one of you. All hail! And if you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the Bounty Board over on Patreon, where $5 a month gets you access to exclusive content you're not going to find on YouTube. And of course, you can always support the channel by liking this video, sharing, leaving comments, and if you're enjoying my particular brand of comedy, then I hope I've earned your subscription today.
Okay, so I just got back into the dating world after being off the market for 4 years. And let me tell you, first of all, there's nothing more humbling than going on a dating app again after years of being away and having the dating app welcome you back. Like, nothing worse than that. I'm like, here we are. I want to share with you guys some of the best advice that I've gotten from one of my friends in terms of like knowing how a guy feels about you when you're dating.
No, that's not necessary.
Oh, so you're single, ready to mingle, and your first inclination was to re-download the dating apps, huh? Well, none of us are surprised, woman. We live in an era where people are so inept and incompetent that the mere idea of going outside in an attempt to meet single people is so impossible that you not only need to rely on a dating app, which has been proven multiple times to not work at all, but you also feel the need to announce it to the world as if it's front page news, but it's really not, sister. Nobody cares that you're back on the marquette. You really shouldn't do that, by the way, because it really does make you sound incredibly pretentious. You're over the age of 25, you're single, and on TikTok. A dime will get us 1,000 of women like you. But I find it kind of funny how all of these apps welcome you back because you can't stay away from them for too long, and the designers know this. That's why they're the first thing you go to after becoming single, which just means that you might as well just shoot yourself in the foot repeatedly, woman. I mean, that's practically what you're doing anyway. It all but guarantees that you're going to remain single for the rest of your life.
It's like, I'm a lover girl. I really wanted to tell myself, like, I'm gonna have a hot girl, single girl summer, and I'm just gonna like date all these guys and not care. No. That's just not who I am.
Liar, liar, liar.
I want to know if they like me, like, because I will like them aggressively, and that's just who I am. So, fellow lover girls, here's how you know if a guy likes you, like, immediately, right off the freaking bat, is if you give him a problem, then you see how he responds. If he is not, like, jumping at solving your problem himself or helping you to solve the problem, brainstorming with you, or just coming to your rescue straight up, that man does not like you, okay?
Wow, that's fantastic work, man. You have the wisdom of a 6,000 or 7,000-year-old man. That's fantastic. We don't have to fill up the whole blackboard after all.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You have been in a relationship for 4 years, and I'm going to assume that you've dated other men in the past. And yet the mere idea that men, who are natural problem solvers, would actually be inclined to help you if you give them a problem to solve? Well, I hate to break it to you, but you're half right. That used to be the case. Now we live in a time where men are either supposed to solve this problem of yours, or he's just supposed to sit there and listen to you endlessly complain about the problem without providing any solutions because patriarchy. And he's supposed to know which scenario he's supposed to help and the other when he's just supposed to listen to you bitch. And this is one of the reasons why men are checking out of dating in its entirety. They're not interested in these dumbass mind games. Self-respecting men don't appreciate being tested, nor do they appreciate being put through all of these games just because you want to know whether or not they like you. I hate to break it to you, sister, but if you feel like you need to pull these kind of stunts just to see if a man actually likes you, then you frankly have no business dating, because this is the kind of crap that comes off as incredibly insulting.
Now, if he is doing all of those things, give him a chance because he's genuinely interested. But my friends were like, yeah, men are providers to their core. Like, they want to be needed and necessary in your life. And if they are not, like, even trying to fulfill that role in any small way, and, like, you could come up with any problem, literally any problem. If they're not trying at all, I don't think they like you.
That's not my problem. It's yours.
Well, that's your problem right there, sister. Now, I understand that you probably failed 4th grade English, so I'm going to try to explain this to you the best that I can. Now, if you want a man to provide for you, then you're actually going to need to give him a reason to provide. And if you feel like the only way to make this happen is with these crappy tests, then you're already looking at it the wrong way. There's no need for any of that. If you're a pleasant person, then that man is going to naturally want to make your life easier. But at the same time, you're going to need to go and do likewise. You're going to need to do more than just these stupid games to make this man feel wanted. You also have to make him feel appreciated, and you're going to need to recognize those things that he does for you. Now, you claim to be this lovey-dovey girl, and yet you have no idea that this is standard practice for any real healthy relationship. But you're so fixated on this idea that he needs to have this provider mindset that you can't even comprehend the idea that a relationship is a two-way street. And this is made even sadder that there are kids in grade school who actually know this fact, and you're so blind to it that you're relying on your friends to give you crap advice.
You blew it. Capiche?
I used to think that I wanted to marry a man and then live with that man and then have a life with that man. But the truth is, I want to have a life with my friends. We have already made plans for the community that we're going to build together. We don't know exactly where this community is going to happen. It could be like beachfront property. It could be in the mountains. It could be in the countryside. I don't know.
Great plan.
Thank you.
He likes your plan, Chief.
Oh, okay. So in other words, you don't have a plan. You have no idea where this is going to take place. You have no idea how you're going to pay for it. You have no idea what you're going to do. In fact, the phrase, "I don't know," has appeared more than any other details in your so-called plan. Now, you've fallen in love with the idea of the pastoral lifestyle, even though you know next to nothing about what it entails. You're talking about this massive undertaking that actually requires planning. It requires a lot of money and more organization than just the fantasy of what you think is off-the-grid living. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for people living a self-sufficient lifestyle. I think we need more of it. But what you need to understand is that if you don't know what you're doing, it can lead to your demise in the form of disease or exposure. And considering that you're wearing a boatload of makeup, your nails are manicured, and you're filming this in the parking lot of an actual city, the idea of you being able to live off the grid is so adorable that you think it's actually attainable, and the only reason why you think this way is because of some fantasy that you've conjured up in your head. But you forgot one important piece of that puzzle, sister. You're actually going to need to do some back-breaking labor in order for that to happen, and I don't think you've done that a day in your freaking life.
We have already divvied up the roles. I will be the superintendent of our community home school because I was homeschooled and I feel confident taking on that role. Someone else is going to be in charge of the horses because we're going to have horses. I don't know. They're just going to be there. Someone else is going to be in charge of like the garden and the food. Like, we've got all that figured out. I suppose that a man will have to be there, maybe. But honestly, if we can find a way around that, I'm cool with that. But whoever I do meet and marry is gonna have to be cool with the commune.
No.
Oh wow, you've given this a lot of thought. You're going to be a homeschool teacher, and you're going to have a gardener plus someone to tend to the horses? Well, it sounds to me like you're all set. Just a couple of questions. What are you going to do for plumbing? Are you going to have running water, or are you going to have an outhouse? Are you going to have a well? If not, who's going to dig the well? Do you know anything about digging a well? Are you going to have electricity? And if so, what's the source for that? And what about the heat? It gets awfully cold in the mountains, and getting fuel up to you might be a little difficult. So which one of you strong and independent boss bay Yas Queens is going to be chopping up the wood for warmth? And on the subject of the food, are you going to have an ample supply of protein in order to meet the caloric needs in order for all of this hard work to happen? If not, are you going to go hunting? You should probably learn, even though you're the type of woman who believes that all firearms are evil, so you might be kind of in trouble in that regard. Now, we already know all of the answers to these questions. You don't know, and that's because you don't know the first thing about what you're proposing. You honestly think that you can do this without a man when your brood can't even figure out how you're going to be able to eat. So, trust me, sister, just find yourself a guy and forget about this pipe dream. You'll be glad you did. At least that dream doesn't end with you freezing to death. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and make sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.